Likability is not trust. Likability is not consistency. Likability is charisma. And I don't care about how charismatic you are when it comes to spending a lot of money. I care about what you can do for my friends and family. And the reason why most people like people, but they don't refer people is because you lack a system, a process, and therefore the person is scared to send somebody to you because they don't want that person to go through a possible funked up situation. What's up? Vikram Deal here with the Real Estate Sales Academy, where we help agents go from struggling to book appointments with people they're meeting at open houses, online leads, right? Everyday even conversion of referrals to 2 deals a month consistently without having to buy more leads. So you can have more time with your family. You can stop saying, well, I know I just need to work more. No, you don't. You just need to learn the human psychology behind what you say, why you say it. Stop saying the same thing from 1997 like every other agent, and learn how to have more authentic conversations without having to be fancy and without having to be more scripted, because let's just be real. Nobody wants that in their world anymore. And in this world of AI, you don't need to go out and fix your CRM automatic touch points so that you have 3,422.146 touch points. What you need to do is have authentic conversations on the first touch point. And that's where we fail. That's exactly what we teach our clients how to do. We have a very simple process. We teach you how to book more appointments with people you're already talking to. We teach you how to convert those appointments, and we teach you how to have a little bit more accountability around your schedule so that you know exactly what to do every day to stop wasting time. So let's talk about what's going on in the industry right now when it comes to your sales process. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, everybody said they need systems and processes, but your sales system and process is probably the most important thing. There's 3 things you need to learn. You need to first learn how to convert a lead, somebody you don't know, into an appointment. The second thing you need to do is you need to know how to do a great presentation, right? Because the market is competitive. There's more canceled listings going on right now, more failed sales going on right now ever before. 3 is you need to know how to ask the prospect to do business with you. And we don't need to use things like, well, I just need to learn how to show my value better. Well, no shit, Sherlock. If you didn't know how to show, if you knew how to show your value better, you wouldn't be listening here. We don't need fancy presentation books. We don't need the most elaborate. Now, if you're in a $10 million marketplace, you probably need to do a little bit different stuff. And that's okay, right? You probably need to have soft touch paper. You need to have a hard copy on your presentation book, right? Certain things. But for the most people, and I'm talking like into the $1 million price points, you don't need to go fancy with your creativity. You need to go systematic with your processes. Stop trying to impress people with how great you are. Well, let me tell you about myself. Nobody cares about you. All right. Nobody cares about you. We did $250 million in sales and we never talked about ourselves. What we did though, is we got every client that we could to write a Zillow review. We had 100 plus Zillow reviews back in the day. We had all of our clients write testimonials. We had video testimonials we could share with people. Why? Because when we booked an appointment and we sent out the links to our testimonials, the testimonials showed our systems processes. When you have great systems, when you're using a system like Calendly, and Calendly sends out the automatic appointment and it has a couple of reminders, and inside of the reminders, you have a little bit of the stuff you've already helped people solve the problems of, people will naturally start to trust you. What agents think works is like the greatest Canva presentation, and it's not. They're trying to use fancy words to impress people, but look, most TV shows use a 3rd and 4th grade process. Why? Because that's what wins in the market. And so if you're not out there doing that, you're going to lose. It's very simple. Forget about presentations. 90% of the market can't even book an appointment. And so if you can't book an appointment, what are you going to do? And so the biggest problem that agents have is communication. Don't know how to communicate. And if you read books like Story Brand, right, and you read books that talk about storytelling, and you look at why websites work, like Amazon, which is an absolute horrible website. It's cluttered. It's insanely difficult to see what's on the page. They're sharing how the product solves the problem of the person that's looking to buy. And so when you think about communication, like let's say you meet somebody in an open house and you ask the same questions in an open house. When you say something like, what brought you into the open house? The logical answer is the house, right? That's what they're thinking. Now you're hoping that they tell you their overarching goal, right? Because what we want to know is what's causing them to want to look at your property or the home that you're holding open. We also know that people don't typically buy the open house, right? Because they're probably seeing 4, 5, or 6 open houses. So we want to figure out what's more important. What do they think about the house, which I get is important, or what's bringing them into the neighborhood? What's bringing them to a house that's the size of your house? It's in the location of where your property is located. Is there special features that they saw online that might have made them want to come into the home? And then we need to do what's called probing and clarifying, because if you ask somebody, did you find the home online or did you follow the signs? It's called a sorting question. And they're probably going to say, well, we found the home online. Let's just assume that's what most people say, because that shows that they're planning, right? They were planning their day. If they found the home online, they're probably seeing other houses, which means they're talking to other agents. The average buyer is going to meet 20 to 30 agents. They probably know a bunch of agents. And so if you ask the same questions at an open house, hey, what brought you in today? And they go, oh my God, I heard that again. They're irritated. And then you say, well, I need you to sign in. And they're like, oh, I don't want to sign in. And then you feel like you're bugging them. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You are the person in control of the process. So who cares if they're bugged? That's the process. When you go to Apple, they make you sign in. You don't get mad at Apple. Why would you get mad at an open house? Because you know inherently that you are probably going to bug them afterwards, because your process is built around qualifying and not around connecting. So you ask the better question. It's called a sorting question. Hey, was it the neighborhood that brought you in? Or was it something about the house, maybe the size or the backyard or the location that brought you in? And they go, oh, well, it was the location. Now, don't start trying to be the hero. Heroes are losers of the story until the end. Like, if you think about it, the hero is getting their butt kicked until the end of the video. You want to be the guide. Guides guide you. You want to be the advisor. And so you're going to say something like, hey, so was it the neighborhood that brought you in, or was there something about the property? And let's say they say, we needed more space and this kind of fits the bill. Oh, tell me more. What do you need more space for? And they're going to say, well, we have a growing family, let's say, or the parents or the in-laws are moving in with us because they're getting older. So we need a downstairs bedroom. Now, don't just pounce and be like, oh my God, I totally got you. This house has a downstairs. Oh, well, this house has a downstairs bedroom, but I guess more importantly, why are the in-laws coming to stay with you guys? Now, you might assume that's because they're older, but what if they're like young in-laws and they're super cool and you have 4 kids that you need help with because you and the wife work, and you assumed, oh, they're getting older. And you're like, well, no, they're actually super active. That's why they're coming to live with us. We have 4 kids. And then you're back, but okay, they'll let me. So just slow down in the front and just ask the better question. Oh, why are the in-laws coming to hang out? We got 4 kids. They want to be around their grandkids. They're super cool. We get along. My wife and I talked and they were like, we either get a live-in nanny, which is great, but that's $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, or we just get a bigger house, a bigger yard, a big bonus room. We spend that $4,000 or $5,000 on a bigger mortgage, and we get to spend time with them. And they're awesome people, and they just want to have a little bit of their own space for a few years, and then they're going to go travel the world. Oh my God, that sounds super cool. Let me guide you through the home real quick. Bedrooms downstairs. Upstairs is where all of the secondary bedrooms, the primary is, da-da-da-da-da. You probably don't need me to walk you through and show you where the toilets are, do you? No, we don't. Cool, awesome. Here's a brochure. It's got all the details on the back. Do me a favor, when you're done walking through the property, there's a couple of features that are pretty cool that I'd like to kind of point out to you based off of like what your guys' needs are. Go take a look at the house and then come back to me. We'll chat for a couple minutes, shake hands, and I hope you guys have a great time. They're going to be like, oh my God, that guy was so cool. Now, as they're walking through the property, they're going to stop in the kitchen and they're going to look around the kitchen. They're going to have questions. And now that they have questions, they're going to look at each other and be like, well, what do you think, honey? I don't know. What do you think? And then you could just pop in and be like, what are you guys thinking about? And they're like, well, we were trying to figure out where do we place the table? Why would you guys want to place the table somewhere? Well, we have a table for 8. We don't know if we should put it here or here. Or we should get a new table. Well, tell me a little bit more about what, and you let them talk. Well, we really like the layout. We like the structure. The backyard's great. Like it kind of checks a lot of the boxes. Anything you don't like about the property? Well, no, we kind of like it all. And so, okay, so it's just a matter of making sure the furniture fits or the family fits. Another sorting question. Exactly. Like we love everything, but we got 4 kids. We got our parents coming. So each meal, they're going to be 6 people, 8 people per meal. And we always do dinner together. So we need a table big enough in like the great room, but we don't want to like encroach on the space over there. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Have you seen anything where you could put the table that was big enough? No, we haven't. So this is the first one you've seen? Yes. Gotcha. Why is it important for you guys to do dinner together? Oh, well, because when we grew up, that's how we were both raised. And, with all the AI and screen time and right. And they're going to go, oh my God, this person actually cares about me. Now, here's the kicker. Now you've got a lot of information. You've talked to them. They've talked to you. You're going to say, hey, you guys are probably not in a huge rush to buy. Maybe you guys are even just starting your process. Has anybody sat down to walk you through like how to have a strategy and like to walk through like what it takes to buy a home in today's market? They're going to go, no. Oh yeah. You probably met 20 agents already, haven't you? Now you throw the other agents under the bus. We have. Nobody sat down to talk with you guys? The way they do, just tell you that they'll send you properties. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. You probably got 20 emails already, don't you? We do. Well, hey, let's do this. If you're not opposed to the next step, why don't we put some time aside on our calendars, right? Where we can kind of create a game plan and a strategy so that when you guys are ready to make the move, you know exactly what it takes. Would you find that beneficial if we could do that? Now you hit them with would you be opposed? No. Would you find that beneficial? Yes. You got the no and the yes, the no and the yes. And they're going to go, oh, wow, that's awesome. And you're not trying to sell them anything. You're not trying to do any of that. All you're doing is sitting down and having a conversation with these people. Oftentimes you can do it right after your open house. Oftentimes you're going to do it that same day, right? So your open house ends at 4:00. You close down shop, 4:45, you meet them at coffee. Or if they have a house to sell, right? Because if you're in a higher end market, people typically are coming from a lower end price point to the higher price points. Now you have 2 opportunities. People don't sell until they know that they can buy. Just so you know, in a market like this, they don't sell till they can buy. So what are you going to do? You're going to talk about the purchase. Why? Do you guys have a house to sell? We do. Okay. Why don't we first figure out game step 1? What are we going to buy? Because you're probably not going to move if you can't find anything, right? Totally. That's what we've been talking about. So let's figure out that game plan. And then maybe I'll come over like later this week and I could take like a brief walkthrough of the house, talk about that strategy. And then we can kind of layer on, what do we need to do? Do we need to sell first? Do we need to do a bridge loan? Do we need, right? Would that be helpful if we could do that? Oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, no worries. It's a big move. There's a lot of moving pieces. How long you guys been in the house for? 10 years. Yeah. A lot of memories in there, right? And they're like, oh my God, that's what we've been talking about. And now you're in their head, you're with them, and they feel like you've been at the kitchen table with them talking. They feel like you've been in bed with them talking at night when they're like, okay, kids are asleep. What are we doing to do? We have to slow down to speed up. If you're doing open houses and there's 5 people that walk in and you're not booking 1 appointment per open house, like what are you doing? Wasting time. If you're not doing proper strategy sessions, what are you doing? If you don't know how to talk to somebody when you pick up the phone, right? You're like, oh, I just work off of referrals. Well, guess what? Everybody works off of referrals. So how many people can one person refer? If one buyer knows 5 agents, who does that buyer pick? None of you. You know why? Hey, honey, let's just go find somebody that none of our friends know. Why? Because they don't want to deal with the Christmas party. They don't want to deal with the barbecue where they're like, oh, well, you use John instead of me, and they hurt feelings. So they go find somebody completely random. Isn't that crazy? But we don't think about our sales process. We don't think about the psychology. We don't think about our story. We don't think about how we're communicating. We think that if we use fancy words, fancy graphics, a fancy Canva, big words, right? People are going to be like, oh, that was impressive. And they're not. All right. They're not. They're not going to think you're any more impressive if you use basic language, just like we did here. Because guess what people want? They want connection, and they want to know that the person they're working with has a process and a system and cares. But if you don't have a process and a system, guess what? You're losing referrals because I will use somebody for myself because I'm smart and I will create my own system and process, but I will not refer my friends even if I like you because likability is not trust. Likability is not consistency. Likability is charisma. And I don't care about how charismatic you are when it comes to spending a lot of money. I care about what you can do for my friends and family. And the reason why most people like people, but they don't refer people is because you lack a system, a process, and therefore the person is scared to send somebody to you because they don't want that person to go through a possible funked up situation. So, hey, the Real Estate Sales Academy, this is exactly what we do. We teach you how to get your time back, make more money, stop buying leads, stop going to all the social media classes, which you're not doing anyways, because you still don't know how to convert the social media leads. We teach you how to do all of that so that you can have the quality of life you want. You can take the trips you want. You can do the things you want with the people you want and the time frame that you want, and stop chasing business, getting ghosted, getting told, hey, we'll call you back, and then you never hear from the people again. So if you're tired of that kind of a business model and you're ready for a change, we are the people to go to. Let us know down below. There's a link below to get a strategy session with one of our team members, or even maybe myself or my business partner, Cody. One last tip. It's not that people don't like you. It's because of something else. And you're going to have to watch the next video to figure that one out. Cheers.